It's a good time then to welcome on board Mr. Amit N Mahajan, Director at Paras Defence and Space Technologies, to talk about the Q4 earnings. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Mahajan, one thing that disappointed the street a tad bit from your numbers was the fact that the margins have declined all the way from 38% last year to 28% this year. We understand that there is an inflation which the entire industry is dealing with, but going forward, where do you see the margins headed? Are they expected to come back to those levels of 30% plus?
Good morning. Firstly, thank you for having me over. And I'd like to do a small correction here because the EBITDA, what you're referring to is EBITDA. And we should be looking at PAT, which there has been a significant increase in the PAT. So if you see, the PAT percentage was 11 last year and it is 15 this year. So this is significant, and by any industry standards and by this industry standards for sure, this is way better.
Just going by the kind of quarterly performance that we have witnessed in Q4, if I'm not mistaken, your PAT performance also has come in lower at about 10 crores versus 18 crores. I'm just looking at the consolidated year-on-year Q4 numbers. That too is down 44% on year.
Now, what is happening is, if you look at the year earlier, there was a lot of COVID impacts because of which multiple quarters did not perform, and there was a cumulative spill-on effect on the Q4. Q4 has always been strong in our business, and so in this year as well. But if you see, our business has got distributed over all the quarters, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and that's why you don't see that much significant dependency on Q4 this year as compared to last year.
So it's a spillover of the second wave that has hurt your PAT number. Let's also look at the segmental performance that the company has clocked in. Heavy engineering revenues have come in lower by 10 crores, pardon me. The defense and space optics revenue has grown, but it's a little bit flat actually. And defense electronics revenue as well, year on year in Q4, has come in at 15 crores versus about 24 crore rupees. What is the outlook in terms of your segmental revenue, and are you expecting an uptick? What will drive it?
So in the coming year, you will find electronics and heavy engineering working hand in hand, because a lot of work on the background of electronics revenue is also done by heavy engineering. So it will be very difficult for me to segregate between heavy engineering and electronics. So we club that up. And as far as the order book is concerned, right now we're looking at 60% order book coming from these two verticals. The remaining 40% comes from optics, which is our frontline vertical.
And Mr. Mahajan, what's your expectation of the order book going forward? What kind of traction and inquiries that are there in the pipeline?
Firstly, I'd like to get the sentiment of the market correct, because, we've clocked one of the best revenues of our past. And in the future, we are going to continue doing the same trend. With the same thing, if I can compare year on year, last year order book versus this year's order book, we've almost doubled it up. We are in excess of 500 crores order book, which is order in hand, L1 and nominated orders all put together.
Your order book has more than doubled, you're saying. So what is the current exact number that the order book stands at, and what are your orders in hand?
I will not be wrong if I say it's touching 600 crores.
And what are the upcoming orders in hand? What are some of the large orders that you're looking at? Which sectors?
The large orders would be coming in the area of tank electronics, and also in the area of naval systems, which includes submarine periscope.
And Amit, I think almost 20% of your revenues come in from exports. How's that market performing, and what's the expectation going forward there?
That market will perform similar, but the good part is the domestic market is booming, and that helps actually mitigate any export requirements per se. If we focus on the domestic requirements, I think we should be able to do much better profitability. We will be better off doing profits in domestic market.
So just to understand clearly in terms of what your overall export revenues are currently and where you see that headed. I know you said it's only 20%. Domestic will, the boom in domestic will mitigate that, but are you seeing some sort of a contraction in exports?
That depends on how the opportunities pan out. Right now, it's in our hands as to how much pedal we need to push on the exports. Currently, the way it looks, the domestic market is going to boom, and the export either remains the same or maybe a marginal increase.
Amit, are you facing some crunch as far as working capital is concerned, or some delays in payments, etc.? Is that a worry?
That is not a worry. I would also want to put it on records that today, as I speak, we are a completely debt-free company. And moving forward, we would continue to remain financially completely worry-free. I don't see any reason why we should have any worries on the areas of working capital, or for that matter, even the debt cycles. They're
Okay,
absolutely
Amit,
under
we'll
control.
let you go on that optimistic note. Thank you so much for making time and speaking with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.